now rocking with the best. The bass get hot, boy, I am so many fresh. I talk cash money like I'm Birdman. Tackle topic straight on, no swerving. All facts is what I'm serving. No one's better or more deserving than me. I bring that heat like Miami on a whole nother level like a Otani. I prove points by helping you visualize, using data that's analyzed by eagle eyes. Get your mind right and act like you know. You are now tuned into the Real Untouchable podcast.
Hey, what it do, sports world, and welcome to the Real Untouchable podcast, man, with me, Ray Diggs. I got a great segment for you all. I want to talk about the NBA, the 2025 NBA playoffs, the Western Conference Finals and the Eastern Conference Finals. It was supposed to be the preview, but these games has already started, so I'm gonna go ahead and jump into it. Hey, before I get started, man, make sure I hit the like button, the subscribe button, and also the share button. And make sure y'all give me your feedback on what you all think about this segment. But hey, let's go ahead and jump into it. It's the 2025 NBA Western Conference and Eastern Conference playoffs. On the west side, we got the Oklahoma City Thunder and the Minnesota Timberwolves. On the east side, the Eastern Conference Finals, we have the New York Knicks against the Indiana Pacers. Okay, we're going to start off with the Western Conference Finals because they started off on Tuesday. We had the OKC Thunder dominating the Minnesota Timberwolves 114-88. The game 2 had just ended, in which the Oklahoma City Thunder dominated again, 118-103 to go up 2-0 in this series. And this right here is going to be a crazy series. I think that Minnesota Timberwolves is going to have to go home and be better than they was in OKC. But I think that just looking at the first 2 games, y'all might not agree with what I'm about to say. I cannot see the Minnesota Timberwolves beating the OKC Thunder 4 times in a row. I just can't see it. And them going up 2-0. Now they have to win at least 3 games in a row. And I just don't know if they can possibly do that. So right now, the Minnesota Timberwolves have dug themselves in a deep hole. And I think that that's the reason why I feel that the Minnesota Timberwolves most likely might not get to game 5 or game 6. I cannot see this team going 7 games. I think they're going to wear them down. I think the Oklahoma City Thunder is going to wear them down as this season goes on, as this series goes on. And that's why I feel like the OKC Thunder might be the best team in the NBA. And I've been saying this. I feel like them and Boston Celtics was the 2 best team in the West and the Eastern Conference. But the Boston Celtics, I feel like they got complacent with the 3-point shooting. And then they ended up just, in the end, Jason Tatum goes down. Jaylen Brown couldn't come through. And then they ended up getting eliminated by the New York Knicks. So that's why I feel like the OKC Thunder will end up winning the Western Conference Finals and making it to the NBA Finals. Then when the Eastern Conference, it was a hell of a game last night, y'all. It was box office between the New York Knicks and the Indiana Pacers. It was a must-see TV. And the Indiana Pacers ended up coming back from 17 down in the fourth quarter to win this game 138-135. This right here was a hell of a game. The Indiana Pacers shouldn't have been blown out in this series, in that game right here. But they ended up fighting. But the Indiana Pacers have been doing this all playoff. If y'all haven't been watching the Indiana Pacers and Tyrese Halliburton, they have been doing this all playoff. The same thing that they did in the last round against the Cleveland Cavaliers, down by 10. Okay, they come back. Tyrese Halliburton hit a big shot. And then next thing you know, they're going into overtime or they ended up winning the game. Same thing they did last night. And it's no more that Jalen Brunson could have done. But I said this right here at the beginning of this series. The Indiana Pacers, I've been watching them all season. I watched them a few games. It was probably in February when they played against the LA Lakers. They ran. I said, man, this team right here is one of those teams that if they get you in a 7-game series, it's going to be hard to beat them because of the way that they run up and down the court. And that is what I think they're going to do with the New York Knicks. New York was up by 17. They was up by 14 with 2 minutes to go. What happened? Indiana and Aaron Nesmith. Listen, y'all, this dude right here is one of the most underrated shooters. A lot of people don't know he's shooting 50% from 3-point. You see what I'm saying? So we know that he can make the shots. This Indiana is a deep team. That's why I feel like Indiana and the OKC Thunders are the two deepest team in the NBA, or where the two deepest team left in the playoffs. And that's right there why it'll be a dream matchup if these two teams face off against each other. I'm hoping that they do face off against each other. But the Indiana Pacers pretty much wore out. I feel like when I got up and I watched the rest of the game in the end of the fourth quarter and overtime, I feel like the Indiana Pacers had worn out the New York Knicks. I don't think the New York Knicks had any more left. If you look at the box score, yes, OG Anunoby didn't have a good game. Mikal Bridges had a pretty good game. Karl-Anthony Towns had a good game. Jalen Brunson had a good game. Josh Hart had a basic, Josh Hart type of name. And then when you come off the bench, you had McBride had a straight game. Payne had an okay game, with average. And Robinson, he just rebounds. So when you look at this game, I just feel like, and then to be honest with you, in this game right here, when you look at the box score, the Indiana Pacers should have gotten blown out of this game, honestly. When you got you had two starters that almost scored 40, and then you had two other starters with almost 20, but then when you go over here to the Indiana Pacers, you had Siakam, 17, Naismith, 30, Miles Turner, 14, Nembhard, 15, and then Tyrese Halliburton with 31. Then you look at the bench, you had TJ McConnell. He do TJ McConnell type of things. He have his 10 points. Okay. And then you have the other dudes that come in and pretty much Obi Toppins and Bryant, they get their 4 points and 8 points, and Obi Toppins had 10 rebounds. This Indiana Pacers team is going to be hard to beat. They're going to be a very, very hard team to beat in the Eastern Conference Finals. And I think that a lot of people are not going to say this. I've been watching a lot of people talk all day. A lot of people are not going to say what I'm about to say. This game right here is going to come back to haunt the New York Knicks. This right here could have been the one win that they needed. This game right here is going to come back, and I think that this is going to affect the New York Knicks. The people are not going to say it, but I think they're going to affect them in the rest of this series. And it won't surprise me if this series right here has broken this New York Knicks team in game one. Now, I'm going to sit back and I'm going to watch game two. But if Indiana come out here in game two and they ended up winning game two, I think that this series is over with. I'm just being honest. Because I don't think that the New York Knicks is going to have enough energy to run up and down this floor with this Indiana Pacer team and beat them 4 times. That's just my opinion. I think that game one was given to them. It's just like game two against the Cavs. When the Cavs was up, I think it was like 117 to 111 or something with like 15 seconds or 24 seconds on the clock. Left in the game. What happened? The Indiana Pacers ended up hitting big shots, and they ended up winning that game. And you can say what you want to say, but I honestly feel like that game pretty much won the series for the Indiana Pacers against the Cleveland Cavaliers, because the Cleveland Cavaliers, the Cavs was never the same after that game. Now I know that the New York Knicks, they got Jalen Brunson, and they got Mikal Bridges, and they got Josh Hart, and they got Karl-Anthony Towns, they got OG Anunoby. I think that this right here is a whole different team than that Cleveland Cavaliers team. But I just want to make sure. I don't know. I think that New York is a more mentally tough than Cleveland. But I think that this first game right here could have decided the Eastern Conference Finals. Same thing with the Western Conference Finals. These first 2 games, it told me a lot with OKC. It's going to be hard to beat them. Same thing with this Indiana Pacers team. I think that they're going to run. And I think this right here, and that's why I feel like when you have a championship coach like Indiana Pacers got, and Rick Carlisle, not Rick Carlisle, and I forgot his name, but when you got a championship, let me see. But he used to coach the Dallas Mavericks, and honestly, Dallas Mavericks really let go a lot of good players. But yeah, let me Rick Carlisle. Man, I'm tripping. Yeah, it's Rick Carlisle. Rick Carlisle. But Rick Carlisle is a championship coach. He won his championship with the Dallas Mavericks. That's why it was surprising to me when the Dallas Mavericks got rid of him. But Rick Carlisle's philosophy is to run up and down that court. He wants his team to wear you out. And I just don't know if New York going to be able to do this for a 7-game series. I don't know if they're going to be able to do it for a 6-game series. And that's right there why game 1 was so pivotal for them to win. And I think that they're pretty much messed up their chances with that game 1 win. Now, game 2 is almost damn near a must win for New York. If they lose game 2, I just can't see them coming back beating this Indiana unless it's a collapse. We know the collapse happened. Unless it's a big collapse, then I can see them defeating this Indiana Pacers team 4 times. But right now, I just thought that game 1 was in their hands. Game 2 is almost damn near a must win for this New York Knicks team. And I just don't know. It's the same thing when I'm going with the Minnesota Timberwolves. The Minnesota Timberwolves have to win game 3. If they don't win game 3, it's going to be a sweep, or it's going to be most likely a 4-1. Because I feel like if OKC wins game 3, I feel like the Minnesota Timberwolves will win game 4, and then I think that the OKC Thunder will come back home and finish them in 5 games. So when I look at these 2 series, this is damn near must. And I know y'all probably like, oh man, you over exaggerating, you're overreacting. It's only 1 game. That 1 game against Indiana, that 1 game for the Pacers was like 2 games. And the reason why is because Indiana had already, they never gave up. New York had this game in hand. You know how you have something in the palm of your hand and it's yours? All you need to do is just close your palm. That's what the New York Knicks did. And they left their palm open, and somebody came through, and the Indiana Pacers came through and snagged it out of their hand. And then now we're in this situation which they're down 1-0. That's the reason why I say game 2 is very pivotal. They need to win. It is a damn near a must win for the New York Knicks to win. And I know y'all probably thinking like, well, New York could probably lose game 2 and go home and go to Indiana and steal 2. I can't bank on that. I can't bank on that because Indiana is really, really good at home. And yes, New York has beaten them at home, but I'm not looking for them to beat them at home in the playoffs. So that's why I think that the New York Knicks need to take care of business in game 2, in which I got a feeling that Indiana want to win game 2. I think Indiana want to come in there and steal both of these games. And if they do steal game 2, Houston, we have a problem. But in the other side, I think OKC want to come out there and they need to steal game 3. If they can steal game 3, Minnesota know that they're going to be broken. I feel like they know it's done. You're not beating New York. You will not. And I repeat, you will not beat the OKC Thunder 4 times in a row. I can't see that happening. OKC need to come out there in game 3 and they need to play like they're down 2-0 and try to steal game 3. And if they can steal game 3, I think the OKC Thunder is heading off to is going to be heading to the NBA Finals. But y'all let me know what y'all think about this podcast. Make sure y'all come back to the next podcast. I will be debating. I will be talking about Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese situation. So make sure y'all do not want to miss that. Until next time, y'all have a great weekend. It's Memorial Day weekend. So make sure y'all have a great weekend, man. Peace.